So it's time to be very honest. I totally failed my T30, and with good excuse. I'm trying to not feel like such a, excuse me. I'm trying not to feel like a failure about it because I do feel sometimes life happens to the point where something like that just it has to be not number one, and that's what happened. I had about 13 days of going strong and just solid. I felt fantastic. I shared with you guys I was good on my water, I was good on my exercise, my sleep. I was really good on my water. That's probably where I've messed up the most. My shakes, every time I add Juice Plus Complete shakes, I can tell the difference in 3 to 4 days of how great I feel. At first I was like, I'm gonna have coffee, I'm not gonna deprive myself of everything because I don't want to give up because I'm missing things that I love. So I had coffee for the first 2 days and then didn't need it anymore, and then I had one just for fun a couple of days after, and I was like, I didn't really need this. It was nice, but whatever. So then I just cut coffee out because I really, when you make a smoothie this big and I'm like moving around the house, sipping on it, doing school, not right now, doing school and, doing stuff, and really with the mindset of I'm detoxing, I'm going to exercise later, I got a good night rest last night, I got to get on my water, you forget about coffee and you have so much energy from all the other great things you're doing that you don't really need it. So it wasn't long before I realized I don't really need coffee, which was so great. So the biggest adjustment for me was no coffee and a lot of water, and being a little better about going to bed not so late. It's so tempting as a mom when you've been working all day, mothering, to use the evening for yourself, and sometimes I use too long of the evening to myself and then I regret it the next day. So I was going to bed at a good time and resting enough and all of that. Well, you guys heard through my other videos there was craziness here, back to back to back. It all started with Ivan hurting his foot pretty bad. We thought it was broken. It got caught in the tire or the wheel of Hector's bike. So he couldn't walk for like 4 days, so I was carrying him everywhere, and we didn't go anywhere because he couldn't walk. But shortly after that, my husband came home for 10 days, which was great, but he injured himself the first or second day that he was home out of those 10 days. And so now I have 2 injured family members, and right after that, Joel got a stuffy nose, and that's nothing except when it's Joel. He's fine all day long, and then at night he'll fall asleep, and then he wakes up screaming bloody murder throughout the entire night. So that's usually 3 to 4 nights in a row, and then there is a gnat that really wants me. So it'll be 3 or 4 nights of no sleep for me, and then it's over and everybody's back to normal. Well, as soon as it was over for him, Ivan went to bed and he woke up in the middle of the night, a little cough, nothing severe, but you know how when it wakes you up then you're just up. So I was up with him for a few hours, and the next day his chest hurt, he was having a hard time breathing, he had a fever, and I thought, you have pneumonia. So we rushed to the doctor, got an x-ray, got him on antibiotics, got him on breathing treatments. Within 2 or 3 days he was better. But it was just like one thing after the other. So right there, everything that's me is like on the back burner. I don't even care about myself. I stopped working out because I was so stretched by everybody needing me. I wasn't sleeping, definitely wasn't paying attention to my water intake, and it was so crazy overwhelming. I was like, who cares, just make pasta, I'm like, boil water and put the pasta in the pot and let's just eat pasta tonight. That was my first cheat, right? And I was like, it's okay, it's our first time messing up on our T30 as far as not eating gluten or sugar, and I really didn't care. It was just one meal, we were gonna hop right back on. I felt like garbage, by the way, garbage for several hours after. I was like, good grief, I didn't know how bad gluten made me feel, you know? So after that, I was like, okay, I may not be sleeping enough or drink. Can you believe this fly? Look at this thing. Where did it even come from? Anyway, after that, I was like, okay, I'm still gonna do these things, even if I'm not being awesome at my water and my sleep and working out, because I don't want to feel bad when I need to take care of everybody. So gradually everybody started getting better, and then Joel got what I am diagnosing as hand, foot, and mouth, because he had blisters on his tongue, and he had like 2 or 3 blisters on his hands and 2 or 3 blisters on his feet. So I think it was hand, foot, and mouth. We'll never know for sure. Even now, it being, you know, in the past, looking back, I still don't know for sure. I know it was some random virus. He never had a fever. It was like 99.2 or something like that. And the hardest part about that was just his blisters hurting at meal times. Everything else was fine. So that was good, except we were home for 3 weeks because it's very contagious, and my kids have awesome immune systems, but I didn't know how that was going to manifest if I exposed that to other children that are not on Juice Plus. So then Ivan got it the day Joel's blisters dried up. He woke up and I was like, cool, we can do small group tomorrow. His blisters are dried up, we're fine, we're gonna see people. Ivan started complaining about his tongue having blisters. So he got it. He had a few on his elbow, which was funny, and then 1 or 2 on his hands and none on his feet. So maybe a hand, foot, and mouth, maybe some other random virus, don't know. Again, his highest temperature was 100.1 one time. So whatever it was, they fought it off very successfully and very fast. We just had to wait for the skin part of it to heal up. So that was my 3 weeks. And as you can imagine, shopping was hard because I had 2 kids with low, like I didn't want to take them out anywhere because I didn't want to make other people sick, but also their bodies were fighting something, so they were susceptible to more stuff. I wanted to keep them home till I could build their immune systems back up. So I kept them home. So grocery shopping was really hard. And eating meal times were really hard because their tongues hurt so much, so I had to figure out what to do for them to help them. And then of course the emotion that came with that, they're crying and complaining and then hungry, but it hurts to eat. So T30 was really hard to say the least. Thank you for listening to all that. Basically I did like a 13-day thing, and it was really successful for those 13 days. And so, you know, that's better than a 10-day shred, which is another program we have, but it's not as good as a T30. Do I feel like I cleansed? Yes. Do I feel like I toxified again right after my cleanse? Yes. So I wish I had been able to maintain it. Sorry, I got cut off by a phone call. So the 10-day shred is a 10-day program that we have, that a lot of people do because 10 days is so much less intimidating and daunting than 30, and I really think anybody could do 10 days, right? So I think the difference between the T30 and the 10-day shred obviously is the day difference, but the 10-day shred, it's hardcore following it to a T. So I messed up. Let's say that, okay, my T30 was a fail. I didn't really do a 10-day shred because I still had coffee with sugar and cream in it. But if I wouldn't have had the coffee with sugar and cream in it for those maybe 4 days, then I would have successfully accomplished a 10-day shred because I did all the other guidelines to a T. I didn't have any other sugar besides the sugar in my coffee. I didn't have any other dairy besides the dairy in my coffee. I didn't have gluten. I exercised most days. I slept great. Well, I tried to sleep as well as I could. You never know with kids, but for the most part, I think my sleep was good. My water intake was great, and I was on my 3 blend for Juice Plus and my shakes, and I felt so incredible. No wine. So, and I didn't eat after 6 o'clock every night. So I think that really helped with my sleep also, not eating so late. I woke up feeling great, and I immediately, like I shared in my other T30 update videos, felt such emotional evenness. Like I feel so great when I am taking the shakes. Even if I didn't do all the other guidelines, just the shakes helps me feel emotionally more even, and not like so womanly up and down. So anyway, If a 10-day shred interests you, definitely let me know.